Good morning, everybody. Crafting Journey here. That Journey chick on Instagram. It's hump day. If you're new to my channel, thanks for stopping by. I hope you stay a while. Think you're going to like what's coming up. So, oh, not enough time in the day. Can I just say, not enough time in the day? No. Um, where does the time go? Man, you get up in the morning from the alarm clock warning, take the 8:15 into the city. Anyway, you go to work, you listen to the trial, you craft. I got 3 rows done on the temperature blanket yesterday. Yay! The crochet one. So I am through like mid-March on that one. Aren't I proud of myself? So Craft With Me Wednesday is tonight, 6 p.m. Central. I have promised to do cross stitch. I can't find my cross stitch. I will. I'm going to do like an all-out search today. I will find it. It's buried in one of these boxes. I thought maybe it's in my office, in that craft area in my office. I'll find it. And then Crystal will be on with me tonight. Crystal's Crafty Creations, and she is doing a temperature cross stitch, and she's going to show you that. It's gorgeous. It's a tree. So for every month, there's a branch, and there's leaves for every day of that month, and they're different colors. It's so pretty. So stay tuned for that. Now, I don't know if we'll be able to get much cross stitching done because it's very difficult to cross stitch and talk on a live at the same time. But we will make an effort and we will have a good time. So come by and say hello. And then you can tell me what you guys are up to. What's your current work in progress? I would love to see it. Boy, you guys are going to be blown away when you see what's coming from Treasure Studios Arts. Let me just count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In April, 5 new artists. 5 new artists. That's all I'm going to say. Save your money. And yes, I am an affiliate with Treasure Studios Arts. There's a link down in the description that will take you to the Treasure Studios Arts website. And if you happen to find something that tickles your fancy and it ends up in your cart, you can use my code Rebecca15 for a 15% discount off your order of $40 or more. And let me tell you, she also has this gorgeous selection of washi tape that you guys have to check out. Oh my goodness, so pretty. Even if you don't want to order it, go take a look. Oh my goodness, like there's a gift box you can get with that has washi tape and stationery, and it's so cool. And that's the commercial part of my show. Yes. Oh, so what did I do yesterday? Well, I think I've hinted at it. I did told you. Yeah, work. All work and no play makes a dull boy. Is that the saying? Oh, and you guys gave me the what for because I did not know these artists. Thank you for telling me who they were, especially the Rawl guy. I had no idea he wrote Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and the Giant Peach and all these other. I don't read children's books, but and certainly when I read them, I was not paying attention to the author, so shame on me. Sometimes it might seem like I am an encyclopedia, but I am not. Really, I'm not. But thank you guys for the help. I do appreciate it. So tomorrow I have to go into the office. Ah, I hate, well, I just hate doing it, to be honest with you, because I have to sit there by myself all day at my desk, which I do at home too, but I get up and walk around and I, come in here and I'll craft for like 5 minutes and then I'll go back into my office and, it's just different when you're at home. And I can get so much work done at home. Well, it's the same thing in the office because I'm by myself, so I can get a lot of work done. Then I'm sitting there like, and I get Mickey up on the messenger and we chit chat and uh, I just don't like being in the office. I love chit chatting with Mickey, but oh well. I don't have a guest for Sunday. Who wants to be my guest on Easter Sunday? If you guys want to be a guest on the show, let me know. I'll have you. You don't have to be a creator. You just come on the show to say hi. Happy Easter. Happy Easter. So today is National Crayon Day. Yesterday was pencils. Today is crayons. Like, who doesn't love to dive into a box of crayons? It's so nostalgic. It has so many memories associated with crayons, like grade school. Like the first day of school, you had your backpack and your pencils and your little box of crayons with all those beautiful colors in them. And who didn't love crayons? So, do I have crayons? I have pencils, I have markers. I don't think I have any crayons here. But I could be wrong about that. Not sure. Anywho, who invented the crayon? Edwin Biney, Binney. He created the brightly colored crayons we are familiar with today. Colored wax. Yep, that's what they are. So what I'm going to do, so you can observe National Crayon Day, is in the description of this video, I am going to link 3 different coloring pages. One is an easy page, one is a medium page, and one is a hard page. So print all 3, get your crayons out, and have fun with it. And if you don't have any crayons, use your pencils from yesterday. Why not? So yeah, have fun with it. Crayola crayons. I loved my crayons. I did. I'm doing the black outlines here on Alice. It's the simplest thing to do. And I try to multi-place where I can, but these black drills are like all different shapes and sizes. With knobbly bits, and so I just kind of, and if you're new and you don't know what a knobbly bit is, it's when your diamond is misshapen and it has like these little tags. Yeah, like the machine just, what happens is they have these machines and the 310s, because they produce so many 310s, I think the machines wear out quicker on the 310s. So that's what I think. Just my opinion. And it can happen with any company. This is Diamond Art Club. It happens with every company on the 310s. The darker colors, the 820s, 823s, 929s. You're going to find a lot of knobbly bits. Yeah. So you can multi-place, but then you might end up taking 1 or 2 out that snuck in there that aren't going to fit quite right, especially when you're doing squares. You want them to fit. So you really don't want to do it with a misshapen drill, because then it's going to throw your whole painting off. That's my wisdom, wisdom, Words of wisdom. I'm weird. Okay. Let's do judge, jury, and journey. Okay, the George Floyd trial. Day 2. What happened? Well, they had to finish up the cross-examination of witness number 3, who was the black man who was very vocal at the site. I mean, like really vocal, and you'll hear that in this testimony from yesterday. But he's a mixed martial artist. He was a wrestler, a pro wrestler. He was a security guard. And so he had a pretty good background, enough to know what was going on. And he said, this guy had his, Chauvin had George Floyd in what he was calling a blood hold, which is where his knee was being, he never said the word carotid, but his knee was cutting off his circulation. So obviously his knee was cutting off that carotid artery, the circulation there. So, and he said he didn't feel like it was safe enough where he felt he could intervene, because this other police officer, Officer Tao, you're going to hear a lot about Officer Tao. He's a piece of work, man. He just kept shoving people back to the curb, He wasn't really shoving, but he put his hand out, and it was clear that you were not going to get past this guy. At one point, this witness said he stepped onto the curb, and Tao put his hand on his chest and said, you need to back up. He didn't use the word shove. He said, no, I never said he shoved me. I said he put his hand on me. He also, one of the things that the prosecution is trying to establish is that this wasn't this huge crowd. They weren't threatening the police officers. There was no violence happening. The crowd was clearly upset and growing more and more vocal as time passes, and George Floyd is clearly passed out, not moving, including this witness. Yes, he became more and more vocal. So they're trying to establish that this was not this mob scene. And really, truly, you could count on 2 hands how many people were there up on the curb. It wasn't a huge mob scene. And this witness did hear another bystander identify herself as an EMS worker. And he did say he felt that Derek Chauvin wasn't responding to the pleas of the crowd. Check his pulse. Get off of him. He's not resisting arrest. He's passed out. Sorry, message coming through. So after all this is over, this witness calls 911, and they're like, why did you call 911? There's officers, fires on the scene, ambulance. Why did you call 911? He says, because I believed that I just witnessed a murder. Whoa, that was powerful testimony. So then they played the 911 tape. And that was the point where this witness actually, he starts crying. Like you could see he was wiping tears out of his eyes. He was really, really upset about this. And the 911 call was kind of hard to listen to, but he said, I believe there was a murder committed here. Whew. So that was his testimony, and the cross was, they tried to make a big deal out of his record on wrestling, and maybe that he wasn't as good as he was saying he was, which is true. Maybe he wasn't as good as he said he was, but he certainly knew enough about the sport to know what was going on this scene. So I don't think the defense made any headway with this guy. He said, "Didn't you call?" I mean, they established that he was calling Derek Chauvin names. Okay. Didn't you call him a bum 9 times? Yes, I did. At first, he said he was being very not. I don't know if it was argumentative with the defense attorney, but he's like, "Didn't you call him a bum 9 times?" And he said, "I didn't. I didn't count if that's what it shows on the video." And he's like, "It's a yes or no answer." And so the guy says, "Well, then watch the video. I don't, however many times you saw it, that's what I did." So, and then I guess the witness got a little exasperated. So as these questions proceeded, "Well, didn't you call him an effing bum however many times?" And he's like, and he would turn to the jury and would look at the jury and he would go, "I did." And then, "Didn't you say such and such?" "Yes, I did." You know, like, "Yeah, I did. So what?" You know, so I thought that was interesting. Okay, then we go to a little break. This judge likes his breaks, so we had a little break, um, and we're at this point we're told that 3 of the next witnesses are minors, so there will be no video of these witnesses. And the audio will be off when they come in and they're sworn in and they have to say and spell their name. Okay, but you can still hear what they're saying. So the first witness, number 4, was the girl that actually filmed this. I mean, they all filmed it, but this is the girls whose video went viral. She's actually now 18 years old, so I'm not sure why they were hiding her identity, but nonetheless, they did. She was there with her 7 or 8-year-old niece, and she said, "I could see that there was a man on the ground pleading for his life. She felt like it wasn't right, and we all knew it. We all knew it wasn't right." She said it was not fair to call us a mob, and there was nobody threatening anybody, and that there was no violence. So this is a recurring theme that they're trying to establish. She felt like Officer Tao was threatening in that he kept putting his hand on his mace. He never got it out, but he kept putting it on his mace. And she felt threatened by that. So she was clearly upset by, having to give this testimony. I mean, can you imagine? You're 18 years old. You have to testify in front of the world. I mean, the world is watching this trial, and she's got to get up there and testify. So the really moving part of her testimony was they said, "How did this affect your life?" She goes, "Well, it changed my life. I realized that could have been my dad, it could have been my brothers, it could have been my cousins, my uncle. They're all black. That could have been any one of them on the ground underneath, this man's knee." And at this point she starts crying, and and then every night I go to bed and I think and I apologize to George Floyd that I couldn't do more. And now she's crying. That I couldn't do more to help. Oh, so moving, so moving. Oh, that's the end of her testimony. And really, the defense was, I thought, really kind to these, because these are children. And did not ask too many questions, really. So then the witness number 5 was her cousin, the 8-year-old. And she had gone into that Cup Foods to pick up a snack, and so she went ahead and went in and got her snack while her sister's filming this scene. Then she comes out, and she sees George Floyd on the ground underneath, being held down by 3 officers. And she said, it looked like they were hurting him. And they said, well, how did that make you feel? And she said, sad and kind of mad. And that was her testimony. That was it. No more questions. And the defense didn't ask any questions. Poor little girl. I don't even know why they drug her in there, but bless her little heart. She stayed composed, because they didn't have her on the stand long, which I thought was really nice of them. So then they brought in another witness who, she had another video which didn't add much to what we've already seen, and neither did her testimony. So it was just sort of, here's another witness. Also, brought in to establish that, that nobody in the crowd was being violent or threatening. So then the really powerful part of the afternoon was when they brought in the EMS firefighter who came on the scene. She was off duty. She lives in the area. She has been a firefighter in Minneapolis for 2 years, trained as an EMC technician, and a full-fledged firefighter. And bless her heart, she wore her full uniform. She looked great. She marched in there with her uniform, and I thought, good for you, honey, but clearly very upset about this whole thing. So she also took video, so they showed her video, and they're like, why did you videotape this? And she said, why does anybody videotape something? So, because your memory fades with time, and the best way to memorialize something that's occurring is to videotape it. Duh! I thought, well, good answer. So she goes out for a walk, and she comes upon this scene, and she actually goes up to Tao. She approaches from a different angle, goes up to Officer Tao and Chauvin, and she says, she identifies herself, says who she is, says that she's an EMS worker. She said, can I help? We need, he clearly needs medical help. And so they had her walk through her training and her experience, and she said, the first thing you do when you come upon someone like this is you make an assessment. She goes, I assess level of consciousness. First thing I do when I come on a scene, is the person arousable? Do they respond to your voice? Do they respond if you shake them? Do you have to, do painful stimuli to get them to respond? Then you check to see if they have a pulse. Are they breathing? So she made an assessment, and her assessment was, clearly an altered level of consciousness. He wasn't moving. He was clearly unconscious. He was not responding to painful stimuli. And they're like, well, what was the painful stimuli? And she's like, the guy had his knee on his neck. That's pretty painful. And he wasn't responding. So, he's clearly in need of medical attention. So the next thing you got to do is check the pulse. So she kept saying, can I check the pulse? Well, if I can't, let me help you guys to do it. And they're like, nope, you got to get up on the curve with the rest of them. And Tao was saying to her, if you were really a firefighter, you would know better than to blah, blah, blah. Yeah. She said she was concerned seeing a handcuffed man not moving with 3 officers with their full body weight on him and a very stressed out crowd. And I thought the way she described the crowd was appropriate. The crowd was stressed out because, despite everything, it just continued. The length of time that this continued with this man's knee on this guy's neck was just, 9 minutes and 29 seconds. That's a long freaking time. And then they questioned this firefighter about, well, you wouldn't have any way of knowing that rescue had already been called. And she's like, it doesn't matter. It took them way too long to get there. And they said, well, rescue was called at 8:21. You arrived on the scene at 8:26. That's, 4 or 5 minutes. And she's like, that's too long. The firehouse is 2 blocks away. And they're like, but we called for EMS. And she's like, it doesn't matter. If it's a code 3, which you said it's a code 3, you would get a fire person out there as well. And they're like, well, isn't that up to dispatch? She goes, sure, it's up to dispatch. She should have done it. If this guy's code 3, you don't. And then the fire people who are eventually called, they don't show up until like 5 minutes after the ambulance has left. And she's like, terrible response times, terrible. She's clearly a communication problem between police and fire rescue and dispatch. And so I think it would have, for me as a juror, what I heard was these guys were not appropriately communicating what was going on the scene. I mean, having heard what the dispatcher has already testified to, I think it's clear they weren't communicating the condition of this man. So I thought that was really insightful for this witness. So that's yesterday's testimony. Now, if I somehow sometimes laugh inappropriately, I apologize, but that's just me. I do laugh at weird times, but I don't know. So today I think they're going to start putting I think we're done with the bystanders. I don't, from looking at the photos so many times, I think we've seen now all the bystanders. Like I said, there weren't a lot. These were like the main ones that were there the whole time. And there's other people that come and go, but it wasn't a mob. You never see a mob. Now, maybe it became a mob after they took him away in the ambulance and people would start talking, but it was never a mob. It's not what I think of as a mob. Anyway. So, one of the things I forgot, the defense, when they were cross-examining the firefighter, they're like, how would you like it if you were trying to put out a fire on a burning building and someone comes up and starts filming you? She's like, it wouldn't affect me. I'm there to do my job, which I think was the point he was trying to make. Well, how would you like it if someone came up and tried to tell you how to do your job? And she goes, I know how to do my job. It wouldn't affect me. I'm doing my job. And then after a while, I think she just, I mean, he made his point that, and he said, you weren't in your uniform that day, right? Yes. No, I wasn't. Well, we all know that. So they had no way of knowing if she really was who she says she was. But, she wasn't saying or doing anything unreasonable. I didn't get the sense that she was telling anybody how to do their job. She just wanted to assist. Everyone was stressed that they weren't doing anything to help this man. So I'm not sure the defense made any headway with that. The jurors were furiously taking notes yesterday, lots of notes. Now, what I heard one defense attorney say was, just a commentator, say that, because all this very emotional testimony has happened at the beginning of the trial, by the time the jurors hear all the experts and all the other stuff comes in, some of that raw emotion from hearing those initial witnesses will probably fade. And they'll hopefully decide the case on the other stuff that they hear. We'll see. I don't know if I'll ever forget some of what I heard and saw yesterday. Powerful, emotional testimony. And some of you are watching know that's true. Okay, back to diamond painting. I think I was diamond painting, wasn't I? This black just goes on forever. Hannah Lynn likes her black lines, doesn't she? Mm-hmm. Ooh, 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 ooh. Tonight, after Craft With Me Wednesday, I'm going to release the April yarn giveaway video. Yay! Wait till you see what I'm giving away for April. You're going to want to get in on that. More to come on that. And I'll try to work on the chair video today. Like I said, just not enough time in the day. A lot of you guys are getting this chair. I just love that. And if you got the pink and white one, oh, that is too cool, because I am loving this pink and white one. I love the blue one too. It's same. It's super comfortable, but it's blue, I don't know why I ordered two different colors. I don't know. I just thought the pink was great for the craft room. And blue was good for the office. I hear the garbage man. The garbage. And I've got, like, those chairs came in these huge boxes and with all this packing and little boxes for all the screws, and so I had to put all that box stuff out there. So the garbage man's got his work cut out for him today. Okay. What should we talk about now? Let's give them something to talk about. A little something to figure out. Okay. Oh my goodness, we're at 30 minutes already. Let's do this day in history. And let's see. This day in history. The Eiffel Tower. Yes, let's talk about the Eiffel Tower, because I think I've never seen this in person. First, let's talk. What's the difference between in-laws and outlaws? Do you know? Haha. Outlaws are wanted. Yeah. Mull that one over, shall you? Shall we? Okay, the Eiffel Tower in 1889, it opens. Yay! Now, the guy that designed the Eiffel Tower, his name was Gustav Eiffel. Eiffel. I'd like to know how he pronounces it. Eiffel? Eiffel. Anyway, they had a design contest. It's a design competition for a monument to be built on the Champ de Mars in central Paris. One of over 100 designs submitted to celebrate the centennial of the French Revolution. So he submitted this plan for an open lattice wrought iron tower that would reach almost 1,000 feet. It goes up to 900 and some feet. The world's tallest man-made structure. And it was the world's tallest for many, many years until another building went up in New York, I think. Anyway, Eiffel Tower, it had a lot of critics. People did not want this structure. They thought it was going to be a huge eyesore, but this Eiffel guy, he was not perturbed by the criticisms. He finished it under budget. It took him 2 years. Remarkably, only one person died during the construction of this tower, which, for 2 years of construction, that's a remarkably low casualties for building this kind of structure. It was 984 feet tall. It has 3 observation decks. He commissioned the elevator company, the one we all know and love. What's that company called? Otis Elevators, to design, these glass cage elevators that we are familiar with nowadays. And a lot of people don't know it, but at the top of the Eiffel Tower is a laboratory where they, like a functioning laboratory where they do research. They have, can you imagine, where do you work? I work at the Eiffel Tower. And at one point they were going to demolish the Eiffel Tower, Um, but because it's also a radio transmitter, they kept it. Um, so radio actually saved the tower. And this guy, Eiffel, he also was famous for helping to construct the Statue of Liberty here in New York. How cool is that? Things you didn't know. I want to go to the Eiffel Tower someday. I have to tell you this letter that these artists wrote about the Eiffel Tower. It's pretty interesting. Let me find it. So these artists got together and they wrote a letter. This is on Valentine's Day in 1887. It says, "We, writers, painters, sculptors, architects, passionate lovers of beauty, until now intact of Paris, hereby protest with all our might, with all our indignation, in the name of French taste gone unrecognized, in the name of French art and history under threat, against the construction, in the very heart of our capital, of the useless and monstrous Eiffel Tower. The screed even said that the gigantic black factory chimney was so low that even commercial-minded America doesn't want it." And now it's like this romantic place that you want to go, you want to visit, you want to have your picture taken. But the fact that there's this scientific laboratory in the top of it is pretty cool. They had French scientists that were studying astronomy, meteorology, aerodynamics, and physiology, and test experiments such as Foucault's pendulum. Kind of cool. And one thing you didn't know is, like, one time this guy there's been all kinds of deaths, like people trying to bungee jump or parachute off this thing and fall into their death. But one guy tried to drive a plane through the bottom part of the Eiffel Tower, and it got caught in the radio cordage, I guess, and just exploded. He didn't make it. It's not funny. I'm sorry. Not funny. Okay, it's not funny. Anyway, Eiffel Tower. Someday I'm going to get there. How many of you have diamond painted the Eiffel Tower? I know there's a lot of Eiffel Tower diamond paint. I do not have the Eiffel Tower. It's in the background of my rose, but that was a partial, and the Eiffel Tower part wasn't something you diamond painted. So no Eiffel Tower for me. Anyway, guys, that's the show today. I hope I see you tonight in Craft With Me Wednesday, where we're going to cross stitch. We're going to talk about our cross stitch whips. Yes, I do occasionally whip out the cross stitch. Like once a year, I get it out, get tired of it, put it away. But it's an Alice in Wonderland cross stitch stitch along that I started last year. Of course, the stitch along's over, but I have the full pattern. It's a pattern reader, or it's on Goodreader, actually, the pattern. So I will see you all tonight. Everybody, have a great Wednesday. If I don't see you, I'll see you tomorrow in the morning show. Everybody, take care. Love you. Bye.